Hi, I'm glad you're here. We're going to have a little bit of a freak out on the avatar side. I don't want to move too far away since I can't get any microphones to work with me plugged in, attached to my head, or standing alone. None of them will work with my laptop. So, my apologies for the audio. There she goes twirling. Okay. So, I wanted to make a correction. In my past live stream, I did mention that FBI the FBI was running mindfulness programs, and that when this was done with policing, that police would quit. I didn't say en masse that I recall. That doesn't really matter. I feel like I overstated it, so I wanted to issue a correction that stands alone, because while there was only one person that saw that video, if it's one person that's misinformed or has the wrong impression, that's a problem. The whole point of these deep dives, the reason why I'm digging into this stuff, is for the facts, the studies, the articles, the original sources that have actually spoken to this are what I'm citing. So I'm not really sure where I got that from. So I just wanted to speak to this a little bit more clearly. So the study that I have on my screen is mindfulness training as cognitive training in high demand cohorts, an initial study in elite military service members. And then this is from the University of Miami. Oh, I think I forgot to drop that in the description. Give me one second. Let me add that really quick. Oh yeah, my description was giving me. Okay, now it's in the description, so you can read the study directly. The reason why I have this on screen and why I feel this correction is needed. So while I did speak to the FBI and cops quitting, I feel like there's a similar training across the board, FBI, cops, military. There's a similar through line here. There's a similar training. So the studies that I've been able to read, this one being the only one I could find somehow. So bear with me, you guys, as I figure out how to be a better investigative journalist. I am not one, but as far as like finding all of these original sources, it's proving way more challenging than I had anticipated. So this one speaks to how you see the normal benefits. There's cognitive increases, there's better focus. This one was more short term of a study. The longer term obviously would need to be done as well. Um, but they rarely speak to whether or not this mindfulness training actually decreases the violence of the military, of the FBI agents, of the police. They don't really speak to that in this study at all. It mostly just speaks to, again, the increased cognitive ability, the better focus. They feel a little bit less stressed in high stress situations, which are all great benefits of meditation. But the last time I was speaking more about how meditation it's largely become sanitized, and it's not really used to push back on the systems of oppression or the systems of violence that we see currently globally. So I'm using the military study here as illustrative of, yes, they've confirmed the better focus, the better cognitive abilities, the better they're able to manage their stress levels in high stress environments. But again, it doesn't really speak to any of the pushback on the system of oppression itself. So I will be doing more deep dives on how meditation is being weaponized, whether that's to optimize oppression, whether it's to ensure that the systems are left in place, such as how the corporations like to use, retreats or take a 5 minute mindfulness break, or those horrific Amazon boxes that workers can so-called go in there and take a 5 minute Zen or whatever, which I'm pretty sure that journalists have covered pretty well that they can't actually do, since they will get in trouble for not being on point. Let me just double check my notes, make sure I didn't miss any other points that I wanted to correct. So my apologies for overstating myself in the live, but I did want to make sure that this correction stood on its own. Like I said, I don't, if there's something that I get wrong, I want that correction to be out there on its own without it getting lost in another live, because I don't want misinformation. I don't want to be adding to the misinformation. We've already got an overabundance of that. So, um, and just to reiterate, I think this matters because I don't know how anyone else is feeling about this. Please feel free to drop it in the comments if you feel differently. I'm happy to engage in this conversation. I've just become really bored and frustrated with how sanitized meditation is, with it's, it's always a beautiful person, it's always a beautiful background, it's always, you know, the thumbnails are about increasing your productivity or focus for work and again, I'm not trying to diminish these aspects. They're wonderful. I think the benefits of meditation are incredible. That's why I've started a meditation channel. It's meditation isn't just one thing. It's been a part of our ability to continue to struggle against oppressive systems, which I will also be doing a deep dive in, taking me a lot longer to gather those sources than I thought it would. So learning all kinds of new stuff here. Um, and I think it's important that we have these conversations about how meditation is very sanitized. It's very, it's retreats, it's furthering corporations' agendas, it's helping police, FBI, military better remain level headed while committing violence instead of actually stopping the violence or the wars or any of that. So I feel like this is a part of the conversation that isn't really spoken about, sort of like the darker side of meditation, which I feel like needs to be shared as well. Give people a heads up of, possibilities of what they could experience, or at least acknowledge that you've had another experience so people can feel comfortable talking to you about theirs. Because it isn't all just light and puppies, right? It can be challenging. It's inner work, and there's not really a linear path here. It's very nuanced, and turns out so is the study of meditation within the military, FBI agents, which I have not found an article or a study on, and then police. So excuse me, like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I got a correction out there for these. I will be also doing a deeper dive into gurus that have taken advantage of their students, because again, that is a darker aspect of meditation. I'm sure there are several stories that I will cover that you may or may not have already heard about, but I do feel like this elevates the conversation. This makes sure that we have warning signs to look for if we're working with a new teacher, we're looking for a new place to do our meditation, and just ways to form your own meditation groups without becoming dogmatic or without it becoming guru centric, because that I don't feel that that's the only way to get the benefits of meditation. It just isn't, and it hasn't been my experience. So wanted to make sure I called this out, because again, accuracy matters, the facts matter, and I want to make sure that I'm speaking to these things with the most up-to-date information. So thank you for listening to my correction. I'm glad you were here. Drop your comments, and then also I just want to shout out, feel free to make sure that you're sharing your experiences with me. That makes absolutely no sense. There were two thoughts that were trying to come out on that. So the first comment I was going to say, please always feel free to share your comments with me. The second one was, I want to make sure that in this space we're coming at the systems, not individuals. So don't come at each other. If there's a disagreement, fine, just make sure that we're keeping this in focus where it's going to be a systemic issue that we need to push back against, not each other. That doesn't help. We're all largely in the same boat. So when you drop your comments, please share your experiences. don't attack others, don't attack each other. Just this is meant to be an elevation. This is meant to be a broader conversation to help us understand that meditation isn't this sanitized, corporatized, retreat type esque community. It's real life. It's where we're applying it. It's where we're finding it working, where we're finding it lacking, our frustrations, our joys. It's all of that. It's a part of the broader conversation. So thank you for listening to me rant for a moment and for accepting my or hearing my correction rather. Again, thank you for joining me and see you next time.